Hey everyone, this is Christy Furio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to this edition of Shift Break. Glad to have you along today. Now, I do want to direct your attention over to a very special website, and that is aeropressmovie.com. The Aeropress movie is a film created by Les and Reddick over at European Coffee Trip. They've done a fantastic job putting together a documentary about this really great brewer, the invention of it, the rise to fame that it's had in the specialty coffee market through the founding of the AeroPress competition, and all points in between. It's really interesting and a high-quality documentary. Again, that's aeropressmovie.com. You can find out where it's being screened, you can watch it on the website, and you can also find out how you can screen it in your community. So, go check out aeropressmovie.com. You won't be disappointed. So today on Shift Break, I wanted to talk about something that's really important for us, as our goal is to learn and grow as effectively as we can. And I think, ironically, one of the things that holds us back from truly growing is learning. And what I mean by that is this. I think we can tend to, out of fear of missing out on vital information, we collect too much information. We just collect resources, books, podcasts, videos and conferences, and we go and we learn, but we don't really give ourselves as much room to apply what we learn as we do give ourselves space for the learning of those things. So it'd be like going to the grocery store and constantly buying food but never making a meal. After a while, you're going to get hungry, and you're not going to grow. The same thing applies to knowledge. And I was thinking about this as, I go to Coffee Fest often, and even with this podcast, there's a lot of episodes to choose from, almost 200 episodes now to choose from. And you will have a need in your professional life that drives you to go to a talk or to read a book. But after you read that book, after you go to that talk, you've got to take that information, digest it, and then put it to use in your everyday life. And that part is really where the learning happens. Learning happens through experience. Gaining knowledge, acquiring knowledge is not the same as learning. You know that when you talk to somebody who's been through a situation versus somebody who's just heard about it. The one who has been through it will talk with more authority because they've learned through the process and grown personally through the process. And the fact that they have personal experience in applying the principles to their situation gives them that authority, and it has made them grow as a person. This is something that happened with me starting this podcast, in fact. I prepared a lot, and maybe even too much, just to make myself feel better about what I was starting to do because I was nervous. I'd never done it before. They say feel the fear and do it anyway. I felt the fear, and I watched another video, and I read another thing, and I went over and over and over things. And there's nothing wrong with practicing. That's not what I'm getting at. But at a certain point, you've just got to do it. And then you start to get it. And then you start to really get those ideas crystallized in your head, and you start to see their effectiveness, and you can actually make changes to what you originally thought as you find out that they do or don't work in your situation. So my encouragement to you is this. Don't just hoard information, be it from this show or at a conference or on a YouTube video or wherever. If you've got a problem, if you've got something that you need to have solved, go and find a good resource and then take that thing and apply it to your situation and give it time to actually work itself out. And then become an expert in the application of knowledge and not just in the acquisition of knowledge. Two very different things. They're both needed, but you can't replace application with acquisition of knowledge alone. I think it's interesting because we all actually know way more than we think we do. It's insecurity that makes us run to other resources without truly mining the depths of our own knowledge. Just by being alive on this earth, we learn tons of things. My son is so funny. My son is he's 5, going on 6 in December, and when he hears me say something about the natural world, like we talk about trees and I talk about photosynthesis or something, and we talk about a little fact, and he finds out that I already knew it. He says, "Oh, wow, you must know 1,000 things." And I say, "Well, I probably know 1,000,000 things. And I just don't know because I can't live and not learn. You're alive right now," I tell him, "and you know 1,000 things." And he says, "No, I probably know, I think I know maybe 50. And so he's selling himself short already. And I think we do that as we grow up too. We don't think we know enough and we sell ourselves short. So I just want to encourage you, if you've been listening to this show and you've hit on some good ideas, but you have not put them into practice, please, I'm glad that you listen to this podcast. I am. But don't let another episode keep you from applying what you've learned. Don't just collect information. Put it to use and really learn the material. And then you'll see growth in your career, you'll see growth in your business, and in the people around you. So I hope that this episode was helpful and encouraging. This is something that I've been kind of talking to myself about because I've got so many things that I know, but I haven't applied to my life that I just know they're going to be beneficial, but why am I not doing them? Is a great question. So together, let's apply what we know and see it make a difference in our lives. So that's it for today's show. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.